Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today. You just found the perfect product that helps with staying cool during hot summer runs. No more gross warm water. Stay cool with this product from Gear Handle. This hydration tube cover helps keep your water cool and easily accessible. Stay hydrated during those long summer runs or even delay from freezing in the winter. Plus, they're compatible with various brands of water bladders and come in various colors. Visit gearhandle.com and use promo code H2O today.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and there's 2 different levels that you can, subscribe to, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows. So if you are far away and you couldn't make our last live show, it will be on the website. We're going to record this future live show. It's going to be on Patreon, but also bonus episodes each month. You guys tell us all the time you want more episodes. This is a way for you to get more episodes. So you're going to get our basic Tuesday, Thursdays that we always put out, right? But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
I can't wait to talk about in detail some more stories because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
They just unsubscribed. This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. So if that is breaking some of your hearts, just go ahead and subscribe now. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/BloodyHappyHour.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
And what is today?
Today is Thursday, and it's Thirsty Thursday, it's Tequila Thursday, and that's why we're drinking these amazing new Blanco tequila with real fruit juice, sparkling water, and natural flavors. Tequila seltzers?
Tequila seltzers?
Because,
I think this is like opposite of what tequila should be, right? But there's no sugar in there. Tequila, you're just supposed to be clean and just the tequila straight. Like put some lime in it. But
yeah. I mean, and let me just tell you. I haven't worked out in about 2 weeks.
What?
So just roll me out of here after I'm done. Well, because after I went to Mexico.
Did you eat like shit? I think I
not
gained
really.
5
I just
pounds
don't eat that. I don't really overeat. I just eat shit food.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't know the last time I've even been to HEB. But I have been
saving
living
a lot of money.
Let me tell you, ma'am, I still got my fish sticks. They still in there.
Gosh.
I have fish sticks and sweet potato fries for dinner. Oh, I literally live like a college student. And I'm okay with it.
Yeah. You do.
I'm okay with it. But Yeah, I haven't been able to do anything because I've just been out of town still for forever. I'm finally back and I'm not traveling anymore for a while, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I am. Who knows? You never know.
You never know.
I mean, today we're traveling to Ohio.
Let's go.
But
are we still talking about? Are we really talking about fairies and gnomes and?
I mean, that's part of it.
Okay. Somebody did some shrooms then.
Is there any update on anything that's happening? Like, did Sweet Pea buy something new lately that you need to tell us about?
I mean, he did buy. I sent you a picture of this weird gadget I found in his truck. And I was like, just take a picture of it in case the wounds match this tool.
Yes.
I think we called them David Parker Ray tools.
Yes.
I don't, one end is a knife, but the other end I feel like is a jugular slicer.
I think it is. So he has zip ties, a ski mask, robbery mask, and he has the David Parker Ray tool.
And things to sink stuff in our tank.
So let's just, whenever, if we don't ever show up on the podcast at one point, it's just because April got murdered and we know who did it. Let me tell you where we're going to go, what we're going to do. We're going to Ohio. It's this town called German Village, Ohio.
German Village. I've been there. Not really.
It's south of Columbus, and this is July 2008.
Okay.
And so July 9th, 2008, there's a guy, father and a daughter, they're walking along, and they are just walking home from dinner. And the father starts smelling something, some rank smell. He's like a dead animal, or what is that? Some kind of odor. And then he realizes that it's coming out of a wishing well.
Oh.
Do you know what a wishing well is? It's not a one of those deep wells, where you get, but it's I guess you just make a wish. It's just 3 or 4 feet deep.
And you throw a penny down it after
I
you
guess,
make a wish?
and you make a wish.
Okay.
And let me just.
I can see how this is gonna go to fairyland already. Wishing wells.
So it's this wishing well, and he notices that this is in the backyard of an abandoned home, and he also noticed that there's items scattered around. There was jewelry, there's coins, there's cards, cards from a wallet, a wig, and there's also cushions from outdoor furniture that were stuffed on top of this well. So he's like,
but it's abandoned house.
Yeah, it's an abandoned house. Maybe somebody owns this property and they're trying to maybe rent it to somebody. I don't know. Maybe that might come up later in the story. So he was really DTF. And he's like, I need to remove the cushions and I need to look in the well.
Yes.
So he removes the cushions and he looks in the well, and inside he finds a dead body.
Oh my goodness.
He finds
my neighbor
this
has a well.
Person upside down in the well. Her head is wrapped in a cloth. She is bound. Her legs and her arms are bound. She's duct tape around her mouth. No, she has a cloth around her mouth. Her legs and arms are duct tape. And then he notices that it's an old lady.
Oh no.
And this is the old lady who was in the well, the 3 to 4 feet deep well. So then police he calls police. Police come. They look through the items. They notice that there's blood splatter on a fence nearby. And so they're like, whoa, we're trying to figure out, was she murdered here? Was she moved or whatever? It seems like she was murdered there. But they find amongst the cards a business card. And the business card, the name on it is Alyce Seff.
Okay.
She's
Poor
81.
Alyce. Oh, poor Alyce.
81, and she's a landlord of several properties around town, and she's still active in maintaining these properties.
Okay.
So she is she is go, and she's 81. She's still maintaining these properties. She is doing all the things.
I love it.
And now she's at the bottom of the well. So she's very active in the community. She would go to
Zumba.
local shops, and she would thrift.
Oh, I love it. It's like my mom.
So she would go to these stores a couple times a week. Everybody knew who she was in town. So they were like really shocked.
She was just making money. She had money, but she was like, I'm going to thrift and make some more money.
Yes. So everybody in town knew her, and they were just shocked that this happened because, of course, nothing like this happens in this town, like that, like they always say.
Not in German Village.
No, never. And so the autopsy reveals that she has no stab wounds, no bullet wounds, no blunt force trauma to her head, but it's determined that she likely died from positional asphyxiation, meaning she was placed upside down in this well, and she was still alive and died like suffocated to death.
No, that's horrible. Blow my brains out and then throw me in the well.
I agree. And so then also this happened on July 9th. Or no. She was found July 9th. Okay. So they're thinking that it likely happened around the 4th, which could have been the reason like that nobody heard, because if there's parties and there's fireworks and all kinds of stuff, then maybe if there was a struggle, you couldn't hear the commotion or the screaming and all that stuff. So this is the one part that goes against everything I always say is, can you maybe guess the type of person that Alyce was?
Was she? Oh wait, what's the word? Jolly? Bubbly?
No,
bubbly.
She was not bubbly.
Was she a bitch?
Yes.
Oh, then our plan's not good then.
I know, but like typically they're always bubbly. And so I was kind of pissed. I was like, I wish you were bubbly, but no, she is like mean. She reminds me of my grandma. Like she don't put up with your bullshit. She did not care. She has no emotion. She was, you either love her or you hate her.
Okay.
And she either loved you or she hated you.
I feel like old people can get that way.
She's an acquired taste. She had a very abrasive personality, and she wasn't someone that you wanted to cross.
Wow.
She was very feisty and strong-willed, and being a landlord, she had some enemies. And so police start looking into her tenants. She also did not have a family. She had no kids. She was not married, I guess because she was that big of a bitch.
Oh, was she a kidless cat lady?
She did not have cats. She had no animals. I will tell you what she had, and then you will realize. So they were like, the police found that there was one person that she was in the process of evicting, and they're like, that person refused to leave, and so Alyce took it upon herself to just go ahead and move his shit out the house because he wouldn't leave. So they're like, well, maybe.
I love it, Alyce.
I mean, she was.
I feel like she carried a gun too.
She probably did.
She was packing.
She probably. So Alyce don't play, but he ended up being cleared, and he was not the one who did the crime. So, okay, so it's not this guy.
The one you least expect.
Exactly. So then police start searching her home and her other properties because she has a few other properties. So they find out that she's a bit of a hoarder. She's a bit of a hoarder. Like I said, she has no families.
She's not thrifting and reselling. She's thrifting and keeping?
Yeah, she'd be keeping.
Man.
Oh, she'd be keeping. So you have a little bit of a hint, but you want to guess what she's hoarding.
Gnomes. Garden gnomes.
And elves. And she would call, I don't know if you call this antiquing or if it's collecting or like, but like, are gnomes scary to you?
Yes. And elves. And any statue-like figure that has eyes. I don't care if it's an angel. It's scary.
So she had gnomes all over the house. This is her main home.
That's why she was single.
Gnome. All the gnomes. No. Gnome City. That's what they called it. But just wait. There's more. She has another property that she owned. And this property was the police were out there cleaning it and looking at it. This one, she had over 2,000 dolls.
Oh, no. She should have. I don't like Alyce anymore. Sorry, Alyce.
Alyce, you don't like that with them dolls.
No.
Alyce.
No. So the dolls killed her.
That's like 40,000 eyeballs or something. Like, I don't do math. But like literally, they could not, like, I get it, if, like, girl, get you a side hustle. But, like, I'm going to need your side hustle to be like, that's a haunted house that I'm going to open for Halloween, side hustle. Like, don't have, like, she for real had that as, like, her home, second home. Like, it was her, I think it was just her dollhouse.
Oh, my goodness.
They also, in that same house, found, like, racks and racks and racks of clothing downstairs in the basement. I don't know if it was her clothing or doll clothing.
Or doll clothing. Ooh. No.
Racks and racks and racks. I feel like she would have been successful if she would have just opened this house as a haunted house for Halloween. I really do.
Or sold those dolls to other weirdos who likes them.
So Alyce just went around to these thrift stores. She did not put a lot of effort into her appearance. She basically, a lot of people around town thought she was homeless. She liked to portray herself as poor.
Uh-huh.
And
which
she
usually
would
people with money, the most money, you won't be able to look at them and tell that they're rich.
Yeah, and she also drove this small station wagon type car. It's called a Ford Escort, and it not only was it that, it was old as shit, but it also had a white a white hatchback, but then the rest of the car was blue. Like, it was one of those cars where it has two different. And if it needed any work done, like paint work, she painted it herself. But she didn't spray paint it. She didn't use a damn paintbrush.
She was Jewish.
She
German
was.
village. She was
Jewish.
You described it to a T.
She
and
painted
she's
it
in
with
German village.
Why do Jewish people paint cars with paintbrushes?
Jewish people are the stereotype. Sorry, Jewish people, but I say everybody's stereotype is that they're very, very, very cheap. Like, they have a lot of money, but they're not going to share it. They're not. There's no giving, and they're very cheap. Like, if they could put duct tape on it, they will.
Oh, yep.
Allegedly. Mm-hmm. Will and Grace taught me that.
Duct tape, whatever that stuff is called, all up in her car. In her small station wagon Ford Escort that she painted with a paintbrush, and you can see the paintbrush marks all over the top of the hood. But she just, she didn't put the money into painting her car. She put it into her gnomes and elves and dolls and clothes. Mm-mm. But guess what? It turns out that Alyce has 17 properties, which equal $1.5 million. Wow. So she's wealthy.
Yeah.
But you would not know it.
Yes.
She only dealt in cash to collect rent and to pay for any services, any of the handyman that she had coming and fixing up her properties.
Bitch, when I'm going to pay taxes and all that.
Well, okay, that's what I thought. And then it comes around and says that she uses this the paper receipts where it has the carbon copy, and she writes all the stuff, so she just does.
For taxes or what?
I don't. Yeah, but I mean,
she's old school.
Nah, she probably evaded. So she also would carry around large sums of cash. Like, she would carry around up to thousands of dollars of cash on her at all times.
Wow.
Well, maybe.
I mean, she might find a gigantic
exactly
gnome or doll, and she'd be prepared to buy it.
That's exactly what I thought. So she's really smart. She might have a good yard sale come up. So when she's found in the well, there's no cash on her. She usually stuffs it in her shirt or whatever. Nothing. But also her car is missing. So a couple days later,
she's a meth addict. The
car was found in a different part of town, completely trashed inside. Literally, so there's a couple of shows that this episode or this story was featured on Buried in the Backyard and I think Murder in the Heartland. So it's a Oxygen show and then an HBO show.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the name of them after. But the car is there's broomsticks, there's duct tapes, there's random doll, there's shit all in the back of the hatchback. It's full to the top. There's beyond. It's beyond. I don't even know how she fit in there. It was so much shit in there. So completely trashed. And police were able to actually get DNA evidence from the inside of the car because the when you close the door, the driver door, you hold, it's like an armrest where you put your arm where you rest your arm while you're driving. Well, the armrest was breaking off. So she had nailed it down. But the nails, the butt of the nail, the flat part of the nails were coming out. And so the person who stole her car had put the arm on the nail and they cut himself. And so it left some DNA. Yes. And so that's the only reason they were able to get, because, she was DIY. And she's painting her car. She's nailing her car. She's doing all the things. She ain't spending no money on her car. She's got to save it up for that giant gnome she's about to find.
Yeah.
So, this is whoever
had... she's dead and all that shit's just there, and people are going to throw it in the trash.
Yeah. I mean... So police have this DNA. It's male DNA. They're searching for the guy. They wait for a match. They start looking into her background a little bit more, find out that she, or like, I guess like what happened to her those last few days. They find out that she would go to a lot of hardware stores, and she knew the owners of the hardware stores, and that she would encounter guys at these hardware stores who were looking for work. And so she would hire these guys to work on her properties from time to time. Okay, sounds fine.
Yeah.
The last day she was seen alive was on July 5th, and she was at one of these hardware stores, and they're on video. And you can see in the video where she's pulling out like wads of cash. So police are like, maybe she encountered somebody at the store who saw her with all this money, and then they followed her and they attacked her and they stole her money and blah, blah, blah. So 10 days go by. It's July 15th, and they get a break because they get a call from her bank saying that her card had been used, which I don't think she really used the card. So that's why it's like noticeable that the card was used, because she always used cash.
Yeah.
And so they said the activity happened from the time that she had likely been killed to the time that they discovered the body. So it was like 4 or 5 days. But then that it went out on the news, and so then that's when the people stopped using the card once it was out on the news that that they like, yeah.
So they were watching.
So then a couple days after that, they find out who was using the card, and it's 2 women.
Oh, hell.
Oh, just wait. And so the 2 women lived in the area where her car was found. And they agreed to talk to police, and they said that they had been given the cards from a guy named Charles Jerome Green, and that he was just like, I don't know.
Well, Charles sounds black.
Charles Black and Alice White. And so police start searching for Charles, but he has no address. There's no way. There's nothing. There's nothing connected to him. So I guess they got tired of looking, and so they were like, we'll just go look for the next case. 3 years go by.
No. Now, meanwhile, where's all Alice's gnomes? In the trash.
In the trash. So now 3 years go by. Charles Jerome Green is still the only suspect, and they still do not know where he is. So police periodically would like search the database, like to see if his DNA ever came up, to see if maybe he had been arrested or whatever, fingerprinted, anything.
He's homeless.
And so one of the days that they finally ran his name again, they found out that he was in the county jail and he was doing 6 months. So they interview him. He said he didn't know anything about the murder. He knew who the lady was, but he denied anything having to do with it. And he's like, yeah, I'll give my DNA. They did a swab, and they compared the DNA that they found in the car to the DNA that was from him. And guess what? It was a match.
Oh, you just lied for no reason, Charles.
Mm-hmm. But prosecutors were like, not enough evidence to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt, because they could not connect that Green had been in the car at the time of the murder. Because what if he was one of her handymen and he was like working on stuff for her and just had something in her car, and you just can't connect it officially. So a year later, he's been released from prison, and they still do not have like a smoking gun to connect him.
Well, there's nothing at the well?
Well, they just need to look. They just need to work a little harder. So now this all happened in 2008. We are now 7 years out. It's 2015. Damn. And they're diving back into her case, and they're
she
like,
any friends or family, so it's not like people are like
exactly.
Really...
So at least they cared enough to like get back into it, I guess. Investigators start to believe that the person who murdered her was somebody who she had hired to do work. And so they were told that she was really careful about receipts, like paying people in the, like, if somebody paid her, she would give them a receipt because she was really careful about deducting it from her taxes.
Okay.
And so she had this receipt book. And so they're like, well, we looked and we tried to see if we could find these receipt books. And so they're like, let's go check the car again. Because, the car's full of shit. So it's still in the impound. So they go back to the impound lot, and I guess they do a deep dive. They find the receipt book. And they found the receipt that she had wrote to Mr. Green, and the date, and it shows that somebody gave her cash, that she wrote this receipt, and that she had signed it, and it was a worker.
Was a worker giving her cash?
So she would sign the name of the worker on the receipt, who she paid. Okay. So on that day in July, she had paid him, and she had his phone number on there, and she had his name on there, that she had paid him this certain amount, and all of it comes together.
Paper trail. You know what, though? Why wouldn't they have done that 7 years ago? That seems
exactly
like anybody
did they not
would have thought of that.
Did they not know about...
Josh, are we still going? It says Wi-Fi gone. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do that. You would think that they would have dug through the car to find something, but I guess they didn't really care that much, I guess. So, I mean, it was 4 days before she was murdered that she had written this receipt to Charles Green, and his signature was the one that matched his signature in court paperwork. So that's what they were like, okay, yeah, this ties together. So he'd always denied being at the house, saying he'd never been there, and he never knew where it was. But once they had that, they were able to put all of it together. And they were finally, in 2015, were able to indict him, and he was finally arrested. So, trial starts January 2017. So we're like almost 10 years. He pleads not guilty on all charges. So then he even testifies. And he says... He testified, and he tried to say that a guy he knew named Johnny approached him on the corner in his neighborhood and gave him the credit cards, but he never even looked at the name of the credit card or whose they were, and he tried to explain away the DNA in the car, and that it was like, he was like, oh, well, I mean, I just probably opened the door and I reached across to get some tool that Alyce needed, and that's how my blood got in there. And they're like, Alyce was last seen at this hardware shop at 12:04 on July 5th, and then at 1:30 she got a phone call from the same phone number that matched Green's phone number. So that was the last person that she talked to. And during his testimony, he said that he would call her asking for work, and that she would drive him. She would drive to pick him up, and then take him to whatever property he was to fix. And so they went back and they linked the duct tape that was in her car was the duct tape that was left on her, and that the blood at the crime scene that they found on the fence was because she was injured there, and that the coroner said that it most likely came from her head, and that she most likely fought back. And what he did was, I still don't know really why. Why? Okay. I guess he just was trying to rob her. But he basically just
wanted more?
Forced her against a fence. He tried to contain her. He finally overpowered her. He strangled her enough to where she was unconscious. Then he bound her arms, bound her legs, and threw her down the well.
The motive.
February 27th, 2017, Charles Jerome Green is found guilty of murder, kidnapping, and aggravated robbery. He's sentenced to 15 years to life, which is the minimum for these crimes. And in her will, she left the majority of her estate to nonprofits around the world, including to Jewish synagogues.
Oh, my goodness.
So I think he just wanted
it.
the money, and he just decided to kill her because I don't know. Maybe she didn't give him the job.
The women did it. I think the women did it.
Oh, shit. The women did it?
I don't know. And it doesn't seem like a lot of evidence, so it must have been a very convincing lawyer. Like, it seemed like evidence you could explain away. Mm-hmm. Wow, Alyce. You know what? If she was nicer... No, I'm not going to victim blame.
I'll victim blame. But
if you didn't like dolls...
Listen, I think her downfall was just... I mean, I don't think she even had any friends because she just was mean, I guess. But maybe she was mean to Charles.
And she was gone for however many days and nobody even
And she really was a little cute old lady. Like, she had the gray little curly poofy hair. And she was little petite.
She'd just go thrifting all the time.
And she just was thrifting. And she would wear the same outfits all the time. And she in her junked up car.
Is there something that you would collect and fill your house up with? Like, is there something that you just, like... love, like shoes or purses? No, who am I talking to? Sports bras? Anything you just love that you could just really buy a ton of?
Like alcohol?
Alcohol it is. You can't even keep that stocked up.
I would do shoes. I would do like I would do like tennis shoes or something like that.
Yeah.
If I had I'd have like every color of Dunks. I would have every color of those Jordans that I love, and I would maybe like tons of like Lulu. It's not really collector's items. I don't really have a collector's item. What about you?
You wouldn't thrift anything? I don't think I could have like a house full of. But if I go to a Goodwill or a garage sale or a thrift store, I am looking for. This is how I know I'm old, but I did even when I was young. I love servingware, like platters, like chips and dip platters, and.
Okay, so whenever I have my garage sale, I'll know to put out servingware, and you can come get it.
Do you even have plates?
Oh, I have a bunch of shit. I just don't ever use it because I don't ever. It's just like in the thing.
I love different colors. I love what? I love the crystal.
Oh yeah, no, I'm boring as hell.
I'm a hoarder with that. Like I have a storage outside that I could fill up with just like punch bowls and platters and.
I mean, at one point, I kind of thought I was starting to hoard puzzles because I had like 27 of them.
Yeah.
But I haven't puzzled in a while.
Did you get rid of them?
No. They're going to go in the garage sale.
Oh, okay. Have a garage sale. I love garage sales. Not having them, going to them.
Yeah, I am going to have one.
It's a lot of work to have them, but they'll make good money. Oh, poor Allison. I do feel bad for her. Is it Allison or Alyce?
Alyce.
Poor Alyce. She was just living her version of her best life.
She was gnome collecting.
And
she was
building her own empire. Like, I want to do that. I want rental properties, but I want to do it to like give stuff to my kid. She's just like, I just want to have doll houses and give to the Jewish community.
I know, and I was like,
in German village.
I need to have a couple of houses to do that, but I don't even know how to do anything. So I'm just gonna.
We're gonna go on a real estate podcast and learn.
Okay, good.
Oh, good story, good story. If you're on Patreon, maybe tune in. We might just do a little bonus happy hour and talk about our vacations. We'll just see. That was a really quickie.
I know.
Shout out to our BHH fan that I knew but met at the Cambria Hotel. I can't remember her name, though, and I knew, like, I had her. She went to school. She was a cadet. She went to school, and she was like, I love Bloody Happy Hour. I listen all the time.
Did you know her, though?
She knew me. Yeah, I knew her as a kid because she went to Conley.
Uh-huh. But you've known of her. You just haven't, like, you're not, like, close friends or what?
No.
But it was
I just recognized her face. Yeah. recognized her face, and I was like, I know you. You went to Conley, right? And she was like, I know you. I love Bloody Happy Hour. I listen all the time. I'm obsessed. And I was like, yay, we're having a live show soon.
We have like 3 listeners now.
Yeah, that makes 4, actually.
You know what?
Yay, shout out. I don't, her name's started with C, Courtney, maybe.
I wonder if we have any reviews lately, because I have not looked.
Yeah, I haven't checked either. But if you have not done a review, then go do one.
Yeah, y'all, go write a
That
review
really helps us.
on Apple. You can write them on Apple Podcasts. Go rate and write.
Here's what helps us as a podcast. You listen, right? You subscribe. You share episodes with people you know, don't know, and love, right? And you can write a review. And that just helps the Bloody Happy Hour name get out there more and more and more. So do any of those things. Also, you can go to our Patreon and you can get these episodes with no commercials and the videos and any bonus episodes we put out there. And when we have our live show, we're planning one for this fall. That live show will go on our Patreon if you cannot attend in person. But you should come.
Yeah, we need y'all to come because we need all y'all there and we need to feel real famous.
Yeah. It's been a while. And we just made 3 years. I don't even know if we talked about. You just recorded episode 159. I know, I just saw that today. We've lasted 3 years. 3 years.
That's longer.
We're basically lesbian lovers.
We are.
This is a marriage.
Yes.
This is
Are you wearing the strap-on or am I?
We'll switch out.
Okay. And also, this is the longest relationship I've ever been in.
It is me. I is she. Okay. And we do get burnt out. Sometimes we're like, bitch, when we quitting.
But we do have to thank y'all for listening and for putting up with all of our ish because we're special.
And our ups and downs and breaks and so
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.
Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.